Hello and good morning. Today we're going to talk about Trump, my mama, and sticks and stones. There's a lot going on in that. Tammy here, and on this channel we talk about loving yourself, loving others, and being the best you're here to be. If that sounds like something you're interested in, come on in. Let's chat. So when I was in second grade, there was a bully in my class, and the spot at school where kids had it out was the flagpole in front of the building. And one time the bully said she wanted to meet me on a certain day after school at the flagpole, and all of her groupies, all of her gang was just like, yeah, go to the flagpole, go to the flagpole. And she was going to beat me up. That was her intent. I was easily victim target when I was in elementary. I was made fun of all the time. I was super sensitive kid and just loved everybody and wanted all of us to get along and be friends. And I was picked on a lot. And so when I went home, I talked to my mom. I was afraid. We've got a little helper here today. Ivory wants to join. I was afraid. I was scared. I was not a fan. I was a lover, not a hater. I was not a fighter. I was not about that. I didn't like to get hurt. And so I talked to my mom and I said, this girl at school is calling me names and she wants to beat me up. And she gave me two pieces of advice that I've carried with me for my entire life and used in different ways at different points. The first thing she said was, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. And at the time I'm like, I tried to believe that. I tried to get that in my head. I'm like, okay, sticks and stones, they're just words. They're just words. They can't do anything to my body. But since I've become an adult and since I've had a lot of years and decades to think about that, I thought, no, sticks and stones break your bones. Words break your bones and then they're repaired. Words stay in you forever. Words are within you for your entire rest of your life. They're more harmful than sticks and stones. Sticks and stones are nothing. Ugh, punch. Hurt. That word, those words that people call me are all over my body. You can't see them, but they're here and they affect who I am and what I do. And I've worked really, really hard in my life to get rid of some of those words. And so the other thing she said was, I don't want you to ever start a fight. My mom was old school. I don't want you to ever start a fight, but you don't back down from one either. And in my head, I'm like, number one, why would I ever want to start a fight? That's not something that I would like to do at all at any point in my life. And number two, back down from one. I'm not even going to be close to it. That's my strategy. I'm just not even going to be there. I'm not going to be near the fight. I'm not going to be where it is. I don't want any part of it. And so I always back down from every fight that was offered to me. And so when this girl wanted to meet me at the flagpole, I was so nervous all day and I could hardly focus on school. I could hardly think of anything else. And and we didn't have buses. At that particular school, our parents picked us up. And I never told my parents that I was going to be late or I think I was in second grade. I never told my parents that this was the day that I had to be at the flagpole. And so as soon as school was over, I beelined for my parents' car and I just got in the car and said drive and got home. And so I don't know if the bully was at the flagpole with all of her groupies or not, because I was nowhere near that flagpole. So what does this have to do with Trump and sticks and stones and my mama and sticks and stones we've talked about so far? What does this have to do with Trump? Sticks and stones break bones. Words harm. He has used his power and position to belittle individuals, to put them down, to make fun of them. He has belittled and put down and name called individuals and groups of individuals horribly the entire time he's been in control of the presidency. This is not okay. This is not how we interact with other people. This is not how we lift a nation. This is not how we love somebody and how we nurture them and how we lift them. Belittling other people, putting other people down, name calling, that drags us down. When we do that, that drags us down. That's not the way to lift somebody. And on this channel, you know, we're here to lift and encourage. That's what we're here to do, because we understand the more people we lift and encourage, the healthier the community, the healthier our nation, the healthier the individuals of the nation, and the healthier we are. So, you know, name calling, belittling, sticks and stones, words, all of that. He's done that the entire time. Now, the second part of that is my mom saying, I don't want you ever to start a fight, but I don't want you to ever back down from one either. I'm not. I grew up very much in the South for a lot of my childhood, and then in the Midwest for the rest of it. And my parents were old school. You had it out with somebody if you just had it out with them. I didn't want to have it out with anybody. I didn't want that kind of conflict. I didn't want that kind of hatred. I didn't want that. And so my strategy in my life has always been to back down. I've always been afraid of conflict. I've always been afraid of speaking my mind. I've always been afraid of being seen and judged for that. And so when somebody comes at me, or when there's a situation that might be a little tense, I've always tended to just like, I'm going to sign off now and go and hide out. That, you know, that whole fight, flight, or freeze. I'm flight. I'm out of there. I'm not interested in that. And for once in my life, I'm choosing to stand up. And I'm going to say, no, I'm not backing down. I'm not hiding. I'm not going off in my little corner and pretending this doesn't exist. I'm not okay with Trump's behavior right now. I am not okay with him as a human being right now. Forget about the presidency. I'm not okay with him as a human being right now. And honestly, I'm not okay with anybody who is supporting his behavior. And you might be, well, I'm voting policy, not personality. I'm voting policy, not personality. The thing is, he's the leader of our nation. As a leader of a company, of a school, of a classroom, of a nation, you have to have a certain personality. You have to have a certain personality to maintain a healthy atmosphere, to maintain a constructive, positive, healthy, functioning atmosphere. His behavior right now is not okay as a human being. And if you support his name calling, his belittling, his put downs, you are saying it is okay to bully people. It is okay to put others down because of what they look like, what they believe, what skin color they have, what they value. You're saying, whether you say it out loud or not, if you back a person, regardless why you back them, but if you back them and they are a bully, a name caller, they are a should have a human being, just to put it bluntly, you're backing that behavior and saying it's okay. And it's not okay. It is not okay. So for the first time in my life, probably, I'm going to stand up and not back down from this. I'm going to say that his behavior is not acceptable. His behavior is not that of a leader. His behavior is not something that should be condoned by any of us. And if you do vote for that behavior, I don't care if you're voting on a pro-life stance. I don't care if you're voting because you got a great 401k going on. I don't care what the policy is. If you are voting for that person, you are saying, you know what, I'm all right with all that name calling. I'm okay with that, putting others down because of what they look like, or putting others down because they're trying to better their lives, or putting others down because they can't afford what I can afford. I'm all right with that. Think about it for a second. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with voting somebody into power who is going to emotionally destroy other people? Are you okay with voting somebody into power who is going to paint words on an individual that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives? Are you okay with that behavior? Because that's what he's doing. And if you vote him into power, he's going to keep doing it. And you put him there. You allowed him to do that. You allowed him. Because going back to the girl who wanted to see me at the flagpole after school, she had her groupies who were just as guilty as she was. I'm going to see you at the flagpole. You be at the flagpole after school. Her groupies were like, yeah. You go, you're great. They were just as guilty as she was. They were just as guilty of bullying me as she was. They were just as guilty of the negative emotional impact that she had on me as she was. I'm just going to ask today that you think about what you want to see from others and experience yourself. The other thing my mom always told me was, if I would try to make fun of somebody, she would say, we don't do that. She would say, think about how you would feel if you were in their shoes. Doesn't every parent say that? Think about how you would feel if you were in their shoes. So I want you to think about how you would feel if you were a parent trying to save your child from harmful circumstances, trying to escape from a scary environment that could put them in danger. I want you to think about how you would feel if you were born with a color of skin that wasn't like mine. Nothing that you had any control over. How would you feel if you were born with a color of skin that wasn't like mine? If you were a parent of a child trying to better their circumstances, get them out of danger, how would you feel? How would you feel if you were working as hard as you could work and it still wasn't enough to support your family? How would you feel if you suffered some kind of setback in your life that made it even harder to support your family? Any of those things, and then somebody told you what a, see, I can't even say it. How would you feel if somebody made fun of you for any of that? How would you feel if somebody called you names because of circumstances that were not even in your control? I know growing up with no money, I was made fun of all the time. I was put down. I was looked down on. It's not a good feeling. It is not a good feeling. And I had zero control over that situation. I was a child, just like those 500 children who are without their parents right now. They're children. They're children. How would you feel if someone were making fun of you and putting you down because of something that wasn't even in your control? Or because of something that you were trying really hard to overcome, and somebody was making fun of you for it? How would you feel? So today, I'm going to say that words do harm. Words do harm. They cause a trauma that never goes away. Never. Start a fight? I'm not interested in that. I don't like conflict at all. I'm very bad with conflict because of situations in my life. Back down from one? That's been my strategy. But this one's too important. We don't build a world of love and compassion and kindness by encouraging the opposite. I encourage you today to think about how you might lift someone, how you might love someone, how you might shine a life onto another person's life. And I encourage you today, if you are thinking of voting for Trump, I encourage you to consider, how would you feel if you were a member of any of the groups he's putting down and name calling? How would you feel? How would you feel if you were doing that to your child? Because if you vote for him, you are a groupie for his cause. Whether you're voting on policy, not personality, you're a groupie for his cause. If you vote for him, you are saying that I support put downs. I support name calling. I support emotionally damaging another human being for life. All right, you guys. I love you all. I'm here for you. And I really want you to find the gorgeousness that's inside of your heart. I want you to find the compassion for other people that I know is inside of your heart. I want you to take it out there and shine it out into the world. All right. Have a great rest of your day.